Huh?
Yeah. Granddaughters.
Okay. I'd like to call the council meeting to order, and at this time, we'll have the invocation and the pledge of allegiance to the town by Councilman Terry Jenkins. Please stand.
Stand as you are able and willing. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, I give you thanks for this wonderful night. I give you thanks for this wonderful town, and I especially give you thanks for allowing me to serve 16 of these last 32 years on this council with a wonderful staff and fellow council members. I pray you watch over this meeting tonight, but I especially pray you watch over the future, which I know is ever, ever bright for the town of Somerville, especially under your guidance. Ask you watch over those who serve us at home and abroad. Keep them safe, draw them ever closer to you. And Lord, as always, we are here to seek and do your will only, nothing more, nothing less, and nothing else. We ask all this in Jesus Christ's name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
At this time, we got some, how many? We got a couple of proclamation presentations. And at the end of that, we've got, employee length of service awards we're going to recognize tonight. So at this time, we go ahead with that. Ms. Beth?
Okay, Mr. Mayor, if you can come down.
Yes.
And also PFC Harvey, Corporal Bennett, and Stephen March. Whereas the Town of Somerville Police Department's PFC Oscar Harvey and Corporal Taylor Bennett responded to a medical emergency on September 26, 2023, providing life-saving CPR to Town of Somerville citizen Stephen March when Mr. March suffered a severe heart attack on the side of Charlie Road. And whereas their swift actions and unwavering professionalism were instrumental in stabilizing Mr. March's condition and ensuring his survival. And whereas the selfless dedication and unwavering commitment exhibited by PFC Harvey and Corporal Bennett reflect the highest standards of service, embodying the values of the Somerville Police Department. And whereas the Town Council acknowledges and commends the exceptional bravery, compassion, and skill demonstrated by PFC Harvey and Corporal Bennett in a moment of crisis, which undoubtedly saved a precious life. Now therefore, Mayor Ricky Waring and fellow Town Council members extend their deepest gratitude and appreciation to PFC Oscar Harvey and Corporal Taylor Bennett for their exceptional and heroic efforts in saving the life of a fellow citizen.
No, please. Mr. Mayor, members of council, Beth, I thank you all for recognizing Officer Bennett and Harvey. On occasion, I am inspired to write poetry, and this is such an occasion. So, if you'd be so kind, I would like to recite a little poem that I wrote while enjoying Hutchinson Square just the other day. I see colors a bit brighter. I smell honeysuckle where I go. A little clearer, more fragrant, places that I know. I hear sounds so clear. I hold my loved ones so dear. A little brighter, a bit tighter. Because of you, I'm here. I have friends and family that love me for sure. But the love you've shown me will certainly cure. So I pray for you that the Lord blesses and keeps. That his face turns to you and gives you peace.
Called our presentations of years of service, employees, help to lead them out and we'll pass them out.
All right, when I call your name, please come to the front so you can receive your award and take a picture with Mayor Waring. For 10 years of service to the town of Somerville, Jack Pryor. I'll read it. Jennifer Jaggers with the fire department. Ella Knox with the fire department. James Washington with the streets department. Brian Helm with the streets department. Sean Metters with Parks and Recreation. And Linda Boomhauer with code enforcement. With 15 years of service for the town of Somerville, Roger Winneck from the fire department. With 20 years of service to the town of Somerville, Don Brown in building. Montez Aiken with the police department. Corey Coburn with Parks and Rec. And Patrick Quigley from the police department. And last but not least, with 30 years of service to the town of Somerville, John Kaler from the fire department. All right, Mr. Mayor, if you could please stay down here, and Mr. Jenkins, please join us. All right.
This says in recognition of your excellent service, Councilman for the town of Somerville, Terry Jenkins, your dedication and your leadership have truly made a positive impact on our community.
All right.
Thank you. A few people didn't think that. Before I give this to Terry, I gotta tell you, Terry and I go back a long ways. He got back to Somerville, from New York or Pennsylvania, where he's living. We had an open home council, I think Tom Daly had decided not to run, he wasn't very healthy. I thought Terry into running for his first term, and he did. He's been a loyal servant to this town, how long did you say?
92.
1992. And Lord, he has helped bring us a long ways. This is small appreciation, this look like. But it's something he can hang on this wall, along with a whole lot of other things, I hope. And with his dedication, he helped me in my 4 years. People say we haven't done anything to traffic. Rowan G. Myers Parkway, 16 years sat still. He worked with me for over 2 years to get the permit for Rowan G. Myers Parkway, which we ran together on to get that permit. And we didn't quit until we got that permit. With Terry's help and a whole lot of other people, but mainly with his help, we would never got that permit. Maple Street, Bear Island Parkway was very deep one time, ran again when I ran, won. Bear Island Road, numerous roads that people say we hadn't worked to get roads and traffic improved, the town has been involved in. Terry's been a centerpiece in getting it done. I mean, the town is lucky to have had him on town council. Because I can tell you one thing, I'm not smart enough to have done that in my 4 years without his help. He sat in my office for hours to help us get that done. Not just him, but a whole lot of other people, a team of people. That we didn't go to Washington to get Lindsey Graham, we got Lindsey Graham to Somerville to get the Rowan G. Myers Parkway done. Y'all can see it, the proof is there. Maple Street, proof is there. Other roads up by Nexton, up by 1780, the interstate, the proof is there. The roads are being driven on. I mean, sure, we lacking in traffic. I mean, there are lots and lots of things to be done to improve our traffic situation. And I don't know whether we'll have an improvement, but at least we are wanting to. And we got a council that's sitting behind me and a new mayor that have pledged their support and time to keep this thing moving. Terry has agreed to serve, to help that going. And we will keep it going. And I just congratulate him more than this plaque. This plaque is just a symbol of his dedication. And I just congratulate you and thank you for your friendship, your dedication, your touch, Terry. You will see how hard he'll work to help you. I'll help you too, but you've got a man here that can stand behind you to work to get the stuff done that you want to get done. Because the future is where it is in Somerville. And that's what you said you were running on. That's what I ran on. Keep it going. And we will get somewhere. Traffic, I don't know about it. It's a regional problem. But y'all are working on that regional problem. He's working with you to to make that legal problem work. And keep him going. Keep him going. You work behind him. He's a worker.
Richard? All right. Mr. Mayor, in appreciation of your dedicated service as mayor of the town of Somerville, this plaque is presented to Ricky Waring. Your leadership and commitment have left a lasting impact on our community. We thank you for your years of dedication to our town, and I'm sure we'll still see you around town hall.
While these fine gentlemen return, I think it's pretty important to note, I'm not sure in the history of this town or many towns that there's an opportunity where a father and son are serving on the same council. And that happened kind of uniquely in this case, but we are blessed with servant leaders like them and their family being here in Somerville. So congratulations, Mr. Mayor and Richard. Thank you.
And this, I'm gonna go ahead and do it at this time. I want to thank this council for my 4 years of serving as mayor of the town of Somerville. I can't tell you how proud I am of serving as mayor of the town of Somerville. I've served in just about every capacity a person can serve in for their town. And I won't go through every one of them because some of them existed and some of them went away after I served. Thanks to Mr. Jenkins. But you know, I don't know what I could be more proud of, other than my family who supported me in doing all these things. But what I'm really proud of is I've always had a council that's backed me in the positions I've had. And this last positions in this 4 years that I've served in, I've had such a great supporter of town council. We hadn't always agreed on everything, but we've agreed to disagree. And that's what makes a group of people work together, is you can agree to disagree. And in the end, you can come out being a winner. And that's what we've done in my 4 years. And I just thank you all so much for being a supporter of, and we got a weak mere form of government. But, you know, y'all have supported me with ideas that I've come up with. I've supported y'all with ideas that y'all have come up with. And in the end, I think the town has won. I really do. And I just want to thank y'all from the bottom of my heart for 4 years where I've come here, tried to come here every day. I said I'd be a full-time mayor. And when I ran, not that the town's got a full-time mayor, but I had the time to do it. And I did it. But I did it with y'all's support. And it was a lot of fun. And a great, great staff. I mean, a wonderful staff. And don't let anybody ever say we don't have a great staff working for the town of Somerville, supporting the citizens of this town. I mean, from our people that get in the ditches and get the drains unclogged, and the people that call me and complain, aggravate the devil out of me because they don't know how hard these people work. But I get out there sometimes and get in the ditches with them and see how hard they work. And, you know, they don't get paid anything compared to the work they do. And as far as I'm concerned, Somerville is one of the best places in the world you can live in. If you don't believe it, look at the damn people that move in here every day. And you know, we are a great place to live. And we don't always get along with one another, and that's fine. But this council, in the end of every meeting we have, we walk out of there in unity and unison, not walking out in disagreement. Or this two or three over here is mad with this two or three over here. We walk out of there in unity, trying to provide the best service in this town. And to me, that's a compliment to everybody sitting at this table. Not me, but to all of y'all. And that to me just means so much. And it ought to mean most of the citizens of this town. And that's all we try to do. I mean, you don't get paid anything to what you do with the little bit of money we get. I mean, you know, you could go anywhere and make more money putting it in a pinball machine. I mean, I congratulate y'all. And I've enjoyed working with every one of you. If I was younger, I'd let Russ serve 4 more years and I might run again. But that can't happen because I'll be too old. But I can darn sure support him because I know he's gonna do us a great job. And every one of y'all. And I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, every and each one of y'all for the job you're doing for the town of Somerville. And I ask you to please continue doing what you're doing, no matter how many complaints you get. And look at those complaints as just what they are. They're just concerns that citizens have. And you take that concern and you write it down and you go out there and you check it out and you talk with those citizens and you try to make them happy. It's like I taught my firemen for years, serve the citizen. That's what counts. Serve that citizen. Try to make them happy. Some of them you can't, but at least try. You know, don't get mad with them. Just serve them. And that's what I think this council's tried to do. And thank y'all so much. And I've enjoyed my 4 years of being mayor. I can tell you that. Even after some, I'm not even gonna say, after some people can be very rude, and that's a very way for me to clean it up because I'm a wearing, and I was taught to be not rude sometimes, but I've been able to clean things up. But that's what I think this council has done. We've served our citizens the best of our capability, and that's what we can continue to do. And thank y'all from the bottom of my heart for being the council that you are. And I look forward to working with you, Mayor-elect, and anything I can do to help you or any member of this council, I'm going to do. And I'm at your beck and call. And thank you very much. Thank you. Now we'll get down to council business and make everybody mad. Where we at, Lisa?
Next is approval of minutes.
Minutes of the previous meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I make the motion that we do A, B, and C together here. Town council meeting of November 9th, 2023. Special home council meeting November 28th, 2023. Standing committee meeting December 11th, 2023.
Second.
Any discussion? Motion made and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of this, signify by raising your right hand, saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Motion carried. Public comments for items at this meeting.
Peter Wallace.
Mayor, Administrator, and Council. I live at 427 West Carolina Avenue, and I know later in the meeting there'll be a discussion about the duplicity to some of two stop signs on Carolina Avenue. And I know there's a lot of support from it here. I've spoken with some of you, and I just hope and trust that you can give this a trial and allow it to stay. We think it's made a significant, an additional difference in terms of the traffic calming in a place that ordinarily is, prior to the first stop sign, was pretty much dangerous if you lived on the street, as I do. So I simply hope that you will keep that in mind and leave the other stop sign up. The first stop sign, the original one, because I think, and other neighbors of mine could certainly testify to the same effect. We appreciate that support. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete.
Mr. Mayor, that's all I have for public comment for items on the December 14th agenda.
Okay, petitions.
Petition by Shannon E. and Cameron M. Lines et al. To annex TMS number 14508000022, located at the end of West Smith Street and totaling approximately 13.5 acres, currently zoned TRM Transitional Residential in Dorchester County and will be zoned MFR multifamily residential upon annexation into the town of Somerville's municipal limits. This would be in Council District 3. The Planning Commission held a public hearing and made a recommendation for denial at their meeting on November 20th, 2023. The Planning and Development Committee voted to move the item to full council with no recommendation at their meeting on December 11th, 2023.
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion for the first reading of the petition.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and a second on the petition. Grant the petition?
Yes,
sir. Okay, motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes, sir. I will vote for it this time, just because it's first reading. I still have a problem with the egress. We had a situation on a subdivision, I think it was last year, that a simple gate could not be opened. And it may have cost the young boy his life, because we had emergency had to go around to get him. And I don't want to see that happen again. And I would like to give them a chance to see how we can negate some other things also. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I would agree with what Mr. Jackson's saying. There are a lot of pros and cons that I see in this. But I think greater discussion of the numerous issues that are floating around this, given a little bit of time, we can move into another space. I won't be here. Y'all can move into another space that could make this a lot more attractive than I think it appears today.
Mr. Mayor, you know, one of the concerns we expressed during committee meetings was the access for our public safety officials to get there. I learned that we are covering this area already and that there was no direct concern from either chief on access to this location. I'm still not convinced what was proposed is the best for the town of Somerville. I hope maybe staff or the developer can have some further conversations about lowering the density, maybe providing some more park space or walking space or trails within this community. I would, knowing that it's adjacent to other communities that may be lacking that, having an opportunity to access it. There's a lot of opportunity here. What would disappoint me the most is if this were developed outside of the town and not done at our high standard. And we're still providing coverage for it and not getting any revenue for it. And that would be a travesty from my perspective. So I think it's a good idea to move and approve first reading, allow some opportunity for further discussion And then when we have the new council member in place, we can have, another discussion in January.
So I agree with everybody, everything that everybody was saying as well. I kind of echo everybody's sentiment. Public safety was our primary concern last, Monday night, and of course, the chief's already addressed that issue. As it stands right now, it is already provided protection by half of our fire department through the agreement with Dorchester County. So, that's why I'll be supporting. I do feel there is some work that could be done on the development to move it down the road, but, still have some concerns. But I think all in all, we deserve first reading.
Okay, so so your motion still stands?
Yes.
All right, we got a motion on the floor in a second. And no more discussion. All in favor of this signify by raising right hand, voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carried.
Under pending bills and resolutions, second and final reading of an ordinance to rezone TMS number 13709011010 located at 733 Central Avenue, totaling approximately 0.23 acres and owned by Jean Clark Haygood from GR5 General Residential to NB Neighborhood Business.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of this signify by raising right hand, voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise, ayes carried.
Second and final reading of an ordinance to amend the Somerville Unified Development Ordinance, Chapter 13, Administration and Procedures, Section 13.3.3, Board of Zoning Appeals.
I'll make a motion that we approve second and final reading.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
Just a little bit, I think we're trying to get this board up to 7 members, and we don't have it now, and so apparently, we would have to work together as a council and the mayor to get the additional people we need to serve to get it up to 7. Is that our intent?
Yes, sir. You all will be reviewing the applications later today.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor of this signify by raising right hand, voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Motion carried.
Second and final reading of an ordinance to amend the Town of Somerville Code of Ordinances, Chapter 20, Planning and Development, Article 3, Development Standards, Section 20-72, Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee.
I'll make a motion that we have second and final reading.
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Everybody understand that? Okay, hearing none, all in favor of this signify by raising right hand, voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise, ayes carried.
Second and final reading of an ordinance to amend Chapter 24, Streets, Sidewalks, and Other Public Places, Article 1, Section 24-2, to add a new section so as to provide that the Somerville Police Department and/or the Somerville Fire Department may, with the approval of council, place signage on town-maintained roads, regulating and restricting parking and the flow of traffic.
Make a motion, we give second and final reading.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Talk about this. All right, no discussion. All in favor, signify by raising right hand.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Opposed likewise, ayes carried.
Second and final reading of an ordinance to amend the Town of Somerville Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 2, Article 2, Division 4, Section 2-132B, to provide the remaining standing committees of council shall be selected by the mayor, and to correct that the Finance Committee is not included in the remaining committee.
Motion we approve.
Second. Oops.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
Just, Mr. Mayor, I want to note that I'm going to recuse myself from voting.
Okay, I don't know why. Um, All in favor of this, signify by raising their right hand, voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise, ayes carried.
Second and final reading of an ordinance to amend Chapter 2, Article 2, Division 3 by adding a new Section 2-108 to provide for a sergeant at arms.
Make a motion, we move second and final reading?
Second.
Motion made and seconded on F. Any discussion? Everybody understand this? If they don't, talk to Chief Wright. All in favor of this, signify by raising right hand, voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Ayes carried. All right, introduction of bills and resolutions.
Mr. Mayor, could I ask that all these be read in unison? They're all relating to the same thing.
I'll second.
Can they?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, Terry. Good.
A, first reading of an ordinance to amend Chapter 16, Article 1 by adding a new Section 16-18, encampments on public property. First reading of an ordinance to amend Chapter 16, Article 1 by adding a new Section 16-19, blocking or interfering with traffic upon a sidewalk. First reading of an ordinance to amend Chapter 16, Article 1 by adding a new Section 16-20, rummaging, scattering, and scavenging through solid waste containers prohibited. And first reading of an ordinance to amend Chapter 16, Article 1 by adding a new Section 16-21, public urination and defecation prohibited.
I'll make a motion, we approve that.
Second, first reading.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of this, signify by raising right hand, voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise, ayes carried. Miscellaneous.
Discussion of stop sign on West Carolina Avenue.
Mr. Mayor, I was the one who asked that we leave the stop sign at Buford Street in West Carolina until the December meeting to see if it created any traffic flow problems. To my knowledge, talking to the chiefs, that has not occurred, and my recommendation would be to leave that stop sign in place.
I second.
Motion made and seconded, we leave the stop sign at Carolina and Beaufort Street. Any discussion on that?
Just to add some comments, I've received 0 complaints from constituents regarding this and only received positive feedback from some of the community members who live in this area saying that it's helping. So I think there's a lot of support for this.
I live on Carolina right next to Mr. Wallace. And I hadn't received any complaints either, so I think it's a good idea to leave it where it is. Yeah. All in favor of this? Signify by raising right hand, voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise.
Authorization for Chief Wright to enter into a memorandum of understanding with Myrtle Beach Police Department.
I make a motion that we authorize this, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor of this, signify by raising right hand, voting aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Consideration of accepting a quitclaim deed from SCDOT for a tract of land adjacent to the Berlin G. Myers Parkway containing 47.441 acres.
Mr. Mayor, I would make a recommendation that we accept the quitclaim deed for this property off Berlin G. Myers Parkway.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on this? Does everybody understand this? Okay, all in favor of this, signify by raising right hand, voting aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Authorization for town administrator to execute an agreement with Tetra Tech for debris monitoring services.
I'll make a motion. We give authorization to the town administrator.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, if I could have a little more information about this, how are they going to monitor services?
Okay, Lisa can answer any questions on that.
Yes, actually, council approved this agreement back in October, but we had to tweak the language slightly, so that's why we're bringing it back before you now. But this only comes into effect if we, have a hurricane or a storm, and the charges are gonna be based on, the weight, the tonnage of the debris.
And if I may, this is how we get reimbursed for FEMA.
That's
So
correct.
you have to have a monitoring system in place so that we can get our federal reimbursement under the emergency declaration.
Thank you.
Any more discussion on that? If not, all in favor of this signify by raising right hand. Vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. It's carried.
Authorization for town administrator to execute an agreement with Somerville Dream.
Mr. Mayor, I move for authorization of the town administrator to enter into the agreement.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make an amendment to the motion that we clarify that this is the third draft that includes the 6 month with an option for 3 year annual increase or annual continuations with date change to be after our May council meeting. The Friday after our May council meeting in 2024 is when we need to make the decision by whether we want to continue this or not. So the first 6 months we are approving, and we will approve again at the May council meeting whether we want to continue with Dream or not.
There's a motion to amend.
Yeah.
I'll second the motion to amend.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Lisa, do we need a motion now to approve the agreement as amended?
Right. That's what we
I
need.
make that motion.
Yeah, yeah. You made
I'll
that
second.
motion, Terry. Okay, we got a second on that. Okay, second on the amendment.
Just to be clear, Mr. Mayor, what we're trying to do is the comments that you made as far dealing with the 6 months, and we do our budget every 6 months and all of that. That's the amendment that Terry is talking about, correct? Okay.
In essence, we're agreeing to pay 6 months, be able to review the 3 one-year agreements at the same rate, or something different, and y'all would approve that at the May council meeting as is or amended.
Or disapprove it, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, any more discussion? All in favor of this, signify by raising the right hand, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise, it's carried.
Discussion and consideration of funding for Sculpture in the South.
Mr. Mayor, I think it's very important that we get in this discussion. We had tabled this a while back. And I know Terry and myself, we were concerned about sculpture in the South. I think, Terry, have you got any solution to what we're trying to do for people in the sculpture in the South?
I think if we look at the history of what happened, sculpture in the South is generally a part of our A-tax, correct? Funding. They, for lack of better words, the person or persons who normally put in that requisition were traveling, someone else put in the requisition, it was not filled out properly, and they were eliminated from receiving any funds from A-tax when we did that approval. At the time, there was some discussion of we couldn't do anything there, but we would come back at mid-year and review it to find out if there was a way that we could do some funding for sculpture in the south. And, what I would be recommending is that we approve from either A tax or H tax, wherever we think best to take the funds, $15,000 for sculpture in the south for, in recognition of the stuff they've done in town.
Yes, and I'd just like the public to know this money covers what is left of a balance of two statues that they have already put in town. And one of my reasons is we may have another big project coming up that I think the whole town will be proud of. And I'll just say it may greatly enhance our veteran memorial. I'll make a motion that we approve 15,000 to sculpture in the south.
I'll second that. Mr. Mayor.
Okay, motion made and second. Any more discussion?
Mr. Mayor, or Miss Lisa, you confirm that we have these funds in either A or H, in excess, or Miss Rhonda? I just want to,
Yes.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, all in favor of this signify by raising right hand, voting aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed likewise? Ayes carry.
For public comment, Harley Edwards.
Good evening. My name's Harley Edwards. I've recently opened a coffee shop on Richardson, Cafe de Flor. It's my understanding that when Ladles was there was 10-minute parking on the street, and I think that it would be advantageous for everybody on the street to go back to that, especially with deliveries for Bexley, myself. And I believe there's a biscuit place going in somewhere over there as well. And I don't know if this is where I need to go to talk to somebody about it, or if this is the first step, but I just wanted to bring that to the council's attention and get any insight on how to progress down this path.
I'm sorry, what were you asking for?
There used to be 10-minute parking on West Richardson when Ladles used to be there, where Bexley was. And I think it'd be more advantageous for everybody on the block if we went back to that. I mean, especially like just the few weeks that I've been open, it's kind of hard to get deliveries in and out. And because people will park there for a long amount of time, and we have an entire parking garage that can be utilized. That isn't utilized as much as it should be. So if I don't know what else to. If I'm in the right place, or
No.
if I need to be talking to anybody else.
We hear you, but during comments, we usually don't reply. The right person will get in touch with you.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you guys for your time, and you have a wonderful evening.
Mr. Mayor, that's all I have for public comment.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion. We go into executive session to discuss personnel and legal matters, including personnel matter related to citizen committees, commissions, and boards, personnel matter related to town engineer position, personnel matter related to victim advocate position, and legal matters related to pending court citation.
Second.
Motion made and second on reasons for going into executive session. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of this signify by raising right hand, voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise.